What drives someone to shatter the harmony of a community for a single night of celebration? In the quiet town of Willow Creek, where the park's ancient oaks whispered stories of unity, one woman's actions sparked a firestorm that would leave scars on hearts and wallets alike. This is the tale of Karen Mitchell, a woman whose ambition for the perfect party spiraled into a catastrophe of pride, betrayal, and a bitter reckoning. Karen Mitchell was no stranger to attention. At 42, she owned a boutique real estate firm, her name emblazoned on billboards across town. She was known for her sharp wit, sharper tongue, and an unyielding need to be the center of every room. Her annual birthday parties were legendary extravagant affairs with live bands, gourmet catering, and guest lists that read like a who's who of Willow Creek's elite. But this year, her 43rd, she wanted something bigger, something unforgettable. The town park, with its sprawling green and charming gazebo, was her chosen stage. There was just one problem. The park speaker system, used for community announcements and evening concerts, played soft jazz every night at 7 p.m., clashing with her vision of a pulsating EDM bash. "Why should I compromise?" Karen huffed to her assistant, Lila, as they toured the park a week before the event. "This is my day. Those tinny speakers have got to go." Lila, a soft-spoken woman with a knack for diffusing Karen's storms, suggested renting a sound system. But Karen's eyes gleamed with a different plan. "No, Lila. I want silence. Total control." The park was more than a venue to Willow Creek. It was a sanctuary where kids chased fireflies, couples strolled under starlight, and retirees gathered for morning Tai Chi. The speaker system, though modest, was a gift from a local veteran, Daniel Hayes, who had funded it in memory of his late wife, Clara. Clara loved jazz, and the nightly music was a tribute to her, a thread woven into the town's soul. Karen knew this, but to her it was just noise. On the eve of her party, under the cover of dusk, Karen slipped into the park with a crowbar. The speakers, mounted on poles near the gazebo, were no match for her determination. With a few vicious swings, she smashed the wiring, silencing the system. The act felt exhilarating, a rebellion against the town's quaint traditions. She smirked, imagining her DJ's beats filling the void. What she didn't know was that a pair of eyes watched from the shadows. Enter Javier, a 16-year-old who worked part-time at the park's maintenance shed. Javier was no ordinary teen. Raised by his grandmother after his parents' deportation, he carried a quiet resilience and a love for the park, where he often sketched the trees in his notebook. That night, he was locking up when he saw Karen's vandalism. Stunned, he recorded her on his phone, the crowbar glinting in the moonlight. Javier hesitated. Confronting her could cost him his job. She was, after all, a powerful figure. But the park was his haven, and Clara's music had been his solace during lonely nights. He slipped away, video in hand, unsure of what to do. The party was a spectacle. Hundreds gathered under neon lights, the air throbbing with bass. Karen, in a sequined dress, toasted to her perfect night, oblivious to the storm brewing. The next morning, the town awoke to silence. No jazz floated through the park. Whispers turned to outrage as residents discovered the wrecked speakers. Daniel Hayes, now 70, stood by the gazebo, his weathered face crumpling. "Clara's music," he murmured, "gone." Word spread, and Javier's video found its way to the town council. The evidence was undeniable. Karen, confronted at her office, scoffed at first. "It was just a party," she said, tossing her hair. "I'll pay for the speakers. What's the big deal?" But the big deal was the town's heart, broken by her disregard. Daniel, fueled by grief, hired a lawyer. The lawsuit wasn't just about the speakers, it was about the principle. Karen had desecrated a memorial, a piece of Willow Creek's soul. The trial was a circus. Karen's defense painted her as a victim of small-town pettiness, claiming the speakers were outdated anyway. But Javier's video, played on loop, told a different story. The crowbar, her smug grin, was damning. The town rallied behind Daniel, packing the courtroom. Among them was a surprise witness, Lila, Karen's assistant. In a twist that stunned the gallery, Lila testified about Karen's months-long obsession with the party, revealing texts where Karen bragged about taking care of the speakers. Lila, trembling but resolute, said she couldn't stay silent while her boss mocked the town's values. Karen's face drained of color. Betrayed by her confidant, her facade cracked. The judge's ruling was swift. Karen was ordered to pay $150,000 in damages, $10,000 for the speakers, the rest for emotional distress and punitive measures. The courtroom erupted in cheers, but Daniel sat quietly, his victory hollow. The money couldn't bring back Clara's music. Karen, humiliated, fled the courthouse, her reputation in tatters. Back in Willow Creek, the aftermath was bitter. Karen's business faltered as clients abandoned her. Her billboards were defaced with graffiti words like selfish and heartless scrawled in red. She tried to rebuild, hosting a charity event to make amends. But the town saw through her. Attendance was sparse, the air thick with distrust. Javier, meanwhile, became a quiet hero. The town raised funds to replace the speakers, and at the unveiling, they played Clara's favorite song, Moonlight Serenade. Javier stood beside Esteem, his eyes wet with pride. Karen retreated to her mansion, the weight of her actions pressing down. Late at night, she sat alone, staring at old party photos. The laughter, the lights, it all felt hollow now. She had wanted control, but all she gained was loss. The town moved on, its spirit unbroken, while Karen paid the price not just in dollars, but in the solitude of a life stripped of respect. ND.